I had insurance, and I got canceled when the Affordable Care Act became law because I live in Indiana, and I was on. It was the insurance that it was called HIP, Healthy Indiana Plan, and the president made them change the requirements, which made me ineligible for it, and so I lost my insurance. And I was stubborn for a while. I refused to buy any off the healthcare coverage website. But my state, they refused, and they to expand Medicaid, and they opened their own marketplace. And after I had talked with an insurance company one day and declined them, then I got a call from an insurance broker, and I talked to him, and he found me a policy, and I did get it. I felt like I had to obey the law, whether I agree with it or not. And I want to tell you, it's horrible. Yes, I got a great plan, supposedly. My deductible is low. My premium is low. I went to the doctor. I had to go to the foot doctor. I paid more. Now that I have insurance, it costs me more than before when I didn't have any. Don't ask me how. The pharmacist couldn't explain it to me. The doctor didn't even try. And I haven't went to pay the hospital yet so that they can answer the question. But I paid more with my insurance than I paid when I had none. There's something wrong with that picture. And when I signed up, I had asked the broker about. I had read an article saying that if you got insurance and you got a subsidy, you would at tax time you were going to get a big old surprise and you were going to owe a lot more. And I asked the broker about it, and the way he explained it to me was that when they question you and you give them, they ask your income, and you tell them, and that is what they base the policy they select for you, and it also affects your premium. If at the end of the year you made more money than what they figured your costs on, then you will pay more in income taxes. You will have to make up that difference. If you make less, then you will get a bigger refund. And I just wanted to let y'all know that Obamacare is horrible. It costs more. And the IRS, what can you say about the IRS other than abolish it? Look at they targeted conservative groups, the emails that have disappeared, the scandals that have came out of there. They are just a useless corrupt organization.
Bunch of yahoos.
Yeah.
I like that you were trying to be nice.
I had to pick my words carefully.
I noticed that we were all like, oh, yeah. Say it like it is, Teresa.
I don't mind paying my taxes. I got no problem with it. But you know what I do have a problem with? I have a problem with the money that I've earned that I paid taxes on. When I buy my house, I'm paying more tax on it. When I put it in my bank account, I'm paying more tax on the same money that I've already been taxed on. It's just a vicious, never-ending cycle. I'm undecided on the fair or the flat, whichever I think is right. Though my understanding of the flat tax was there was no income tax. The way I understood a flat tax was that it was just on goods and purchases you made.
That's right. Yeah, maybe that's what I was talking about. That's in my mind by what they're talking about.
No, I'll straighten you all out when I get a chance.
Okay. Well, you straighten us out right now, Roland.
There you go.
Okay. One of the main problems I think we have with our taxation is that we've turned into a socialist state. We have 45,753,000 people. Get that, 45 million people on food stamps. And those food stamps and we're paying for it, and those food stamps can buy pet food, alcohol, and cigarettes. Really good stuff, really nourishing things that they can be used for. Let me be clear that I believe in our country, and I'm sure all of you feel the same way, is that if a person is physically or mentally unable to take care of themselves, we as a Christian, Judeo-Christian country can certainly take care of those people. But the trouble is we have too many people that are on disability that don't deserve to be on there. We have women getting pregnant on purpose so they can get more child support. All these things lead to a decay. We have at least 47% of the people in the United States that do not pay income tax. Now, a country cannot survive for very long with only half of us working. We have less people working today than we did in the workforce than we did 7 years ago when Obama came into office. Why? Because of his idiotic, ridiculous laws that he's put through without the approval of Congress. So we're in bad shape from a from a financial standpoint. All right, I want to clarify the flat tax versus a fair tax. A fair tax includes things like sales tax and things like that. A flat tax is exactly what it says it is, and it is recommended by people like Forbes, who is one of the leading financial people in the country. And it taxes everyone the same amount. And it's estimated that we could get away with 13% if everybody paid their 13%. Now that's 13. If you made $1,000, you'd pay 13% of that. If you make $1 million, you pay 13% of that. There's no deductions. There's no way of. We can do away with IRS because you can fill out your income tax on a postcard. So I'm for a flat tax. I think everybody, unless they can take care of themselves, unless they can't take care of themselves, should pay something for living in this country, and I shouldn't have to pay for it. It's just gotten completely out of hand. Can you believe that we have 45 million people on stamps, food stamps? How many people do you know that are on disability that could really get out there and get a job and do something, do something? I know at least a half a dozen. They get their check from Social Security. They then find jobs they can be paid cash, or somehow make money to subsidize what the government's paying them. People that have the ability may have a back problem. Well, you can certainly work a computer. You don't have to lift 50-pound bags of cement to get the job done. But we're too liberal with this. We're turning into a socialistic country, and unless we change, something bad's going to happen to us. I mean, I don't know if we're over the edge already, internationally and nationally. But I want to tell you a story in closing. I went to the movie the other day, and I saw this. I bought my ticket, and I walked in, and I'm 6'2.5", and I looked around, and I didn't see anybody to take my ticket. Finally, I looked down, and there in a stretcher, it was a wheelchair, but it was a horizontal job. There was this little fellow, young man, and he raised his right hand because I think all he could move was his two arms and his eyes and his lips. And he reached out for my ticket, and he tore it in half, and as he tore it in half, he looked up at me and smiled. And I thought to myself, here's someone that needs us to take care of him, but he's willing to get out and have a job and do something. And we need more of that in our country today. But certainly a socialistic country doesn't mean that we don't care about the poor and sick and needy. It means that we love them and we'll take care of those, but not these people that are just robbing us blind. And you and I are paying for it, listeners.
Yeah.
We're paying for their pet food, their alcohol, their cigarettes, and everything else.
Well, we're paying for their lobster and steak, too.
Yes, that's true, too.
Yes.
And how many people get to take home lobster and steak every week? If you're not on food stamps, you don't get to.
There's a couple of states that are coming out now. They're changing the law.
Well, that's
in
the
their
reason I
states
brought that
where
up.
they
I
could-
saw that.
Yeah. Where they cannot do it on luxury items.
Mm-hmm.
And because the public is saying, I have to eat ground beef, why do you get to eat T-bone?
Right.
And that's why we have to be loud and make a lot of noise. And the only people that can help us right now is Congress. So we need to talk to our congressmen. There are a few good ones in there, regardless of what some people may think. You know, Cotton, I think, is fantastic. I think Trey County, and I mean, you can name some there. And if you get a core of people working together, we can get some. We can at least stop it or slow it down some. Anyway, that's all I had to say about it. Was there any questions about the difference between flat tax and?
I think you explained it very well.
Yes, you did.
Very well.
All right, with that, I'll put them on my mute back and listen to you guys.
Okay. Well, I wanted to bring up the fact that Social Security is not an entitlement. People were forced to pay into that, and they're talking about cutting entitlements. Well, Social Security is not an entitlement. Everybody who worked was forced to pay into that, and you were taxed on that when they took it from you for Social Security. Well, in the state of New Mexico, we're taxed on it again. So when we make Social Security, we're taxed on it again. And we just send in our tax money to take care of the state of New Mexico for another year on Social Security checks, because it's insane. They tax you and then they tax you again, and then all a car is a rolling tax. So anyway, that's kind of their scam on that. And when I hear somebody say they're going to tax Social Security, I'm thinking, why? You're robbing everybody blind as it is, and then you're just going to shut off the water when they were forced to have to pay into that? And taxes are too high already. They've got to figure out some way to stem the tide. And then if that's not bad enough, then there's the IRS with their scandals, and they're targeting conservatives and anyone else. And then the lowest learners of the world get to go free because of who she is and for who she works for. And, if it wasn't for Trey Gowdy, I don't think anybody up there would even be caring what she did. I care. I don't like the fact that the IRS is getting away scot-free with what they're doing. And, it's just more of the same with this country. And when you are looking for people to elect, and you are looking for people who are appointed, you find out that wisdom is too much for a fool. So that's my take on this segment. And we're going to segue right on into our break, and you just stay right there for more of Right Opinions, and we will be right back.
Scott became famous for freezing to death in Antarctica. Columbus made history, thinking some island was India. General Custer's a national hero for not knowing when to run. All of these men are famous, and they're also very dumb.
History is made by stupid people. Clever people wouldn't even try. If you want a place in the history books, then do something dumb before you die. Nobility are famous for no reason. Marie Antoinette enjoyed her cake. She caused a revolution when she would not share, and her husband lost his head for that mistake. The Hindenburg was a giant zeppelin. Its makers made a minor oversight. Before they filled it up with explosive gas, they should have fixed the no-smoking light. 'Cause history is made by stupid people. Clever people people wouldn't even try.